On Halloween night, the small town of Fairhaven transformed into a tapestry of vibrant colors, eerie decorations, and costumed revelers. It was a night where everyone could shed their mundane identities and become someone or something else. For Ethan, a 24-year-old IT technician with a penchant for avoiding the spotlight, it was a night he usually spent inside, watching horror movies with a bag of chips. This year, however, was different. Ethan's best friend, Mia, had practically dragged him into the spirit of the season. She'd been pestering him for weeks to attend the annual Halloween party at one of Fairhaven's historic mansions. Known as the Haunted Gala, the event was legendary for its elaborate costumes and wild stories. Ethan had resisted. He wasn't much for crowds or dressing up, but Mia was relentless. "I already picked out your costume," Mia said with a mischievous grin as she arrived at Ethan's apartment that evening. She carried a garment bag and a shoebox, her excitement palpable. "I told you, I'm not dressing up," Ethan protested, though he knew resistance was futile. "Oh, you'll love this," Mia said, unzipping the bag with a flourish. Inside was a glittering, floor-length gown in deep emerald green, complete with intricate embroidery and a plunging neckline. Ethan's jaw dropped. "That's not for me, right?" "Of course it is." Mia beamed. "You're going as Lady Evelyn, the bewitching enchantress." "I'm not cross-dressing for Halloween," Ethan said, crossing his arms. "Why not?" "It's Halloween. It's about having fun and stepping out of your comfort zone," Mia argued. "Besides, it's the perfect costume. No one will recognize you, and you'll definitely turn heads." Ethan hesitated. The idea of stepping so far out of his usual jeans and hoodie comfort zone was daunting, but something about Mia's enthusiasm and the idea of being unrecognizable piqued his curiosity. "Fine," he relented, "but this better not be some prank." "Trust me," Mia said with a wink. "You're going to look amazing." 2 hours later, Ethan stood in front of his bedroom mirror, barely recognizing the person staring back at him. Mia had worked her magic, transforming him into an elegant, undeniably feminine figure. The gown hugged his frame perfectly, and the corset beneath it created curves where there had been none. His usually untamed hair was styled into soft waves, and a wig of auburn locks cascaded over his shoulders. Mia had even applied makeup, a smoky eye, flawless foundation, and a bold red lip. "Wow," Ethan whispered, turning slightly to admire the dress. "I told you," Mia said triumphantly. "You're gorgeous. If I didn't know better, I'd think you were a real woman." Ethan flushed. "It's just the costume." "Exactly. And now we're going to the party." The Haunted Gala was everything Mia had promised and more. The mansion was decked out with cobwebs, flickering lanterns, and animatronic ghosts that startled guests as they arrived. The grand ballroom was filled with people in elaborate costumes, from classic monsters to pop culture icons. Ethan felt a wave of anxiety as he stepped inside, but no one gave him a second glance. At least, not in a way that suggested they saw through his disguise. "Let's get drinks," Mia said, pulling Ethan toward the bar. As they walked, Ethan noticed how effortlessly he moved in the heels Mia had chosen for him. It was strange. He'd never worn them before, but they felt natural. At the bar, they were approached by a man in a vampire costume. He was tall, with chiseled features and an easy smile. "Lady Evelyn," he said, addressing Ethan, "may I say, you are the most enchanting creature here tonight." Ethan froze, unsure how to respond. Mia nudged him with a grin. "Thank you," he said, his voice coming out softer and higher than expected. The vampire smiled. "Would you honor me with a dance?" Before Ethan could protest, Mia whispered, "Go. It's part of the experience." Reluctantly, Ethan allowed himself to be led onto the dance floor. The vampire introduced himself as Daniel and quickly proved to be a skilled dancer. To Ethan's surprise, he found himself enjoying the moment. Daniel was charming, and for the first time, Ethan felt like he could relax and simply be in the moment. As the night went on, Ethan couldn't help but notice how natural everything felt. The dress, the heels, the way people treated him. It was as if the costume had unlocked a part of him he hadn't known existed. When Daniel offered to fetch him a drink, Ethan caught his reflection in a nearby mirror. The woman staring back at him looked radiant, confident, and undeniably real. It wasn't until the clock struck midnight that things took an unexpected turn. A chill swept through the ballroom, extinguishing the candles and plunging the room into darkness. Gasps and nervous laughter filled the air as the sound of wind howling through the mansion echoed around them. This wasn't part of the plan, was it? Ethan whispered to Mia, who shook her head. A soft, eerie voice cut through the darkness. Who dares awaken the spirit of Lady Evelyn? The crowd parted as a ghostly figure appeared at the top of the grand staircase. She was ethereal, with glowing eyes and a translucent gown that billowed around her. Ethan felt a strange pull, as if the figure's gaze was directed solely at him. You, the spirit said, pointing a spectral finger at Ethan. You are my name and my likeness. Do you seek to mock me? Ethan's heart raced. And no, it's just a costume, he stammered. The ghost descended the stairs, her presence commanding. A costume, you say? Then let us see how well it suits you. Before Ethan could react, the ghost reached out and touched his forehead. A wave of energy surged through him, warm and electric. When the ghost withdrew, she smiled faintly. The veil between worlds is thin tonight. Enjoy your new reality, Lady Evelyn. With that, the ghost vanished, and the lights flickered back on. The crowd erupted into applause, assuming it was a staged performance. Ethan, however, felt an unmistakable shift within himself. The rest of the night passed in a blur. Ethan tried to shake off the encounter, but something felt different. His movements were even more fluid, his voice naturally higher, and the attention he received from others felt less like admiration for a costume and more like genuine attraction. It wasn't until he returned home and removed the gown that he realized the full extent of the transformation. His body had changed. His frame was smaller, his curves more pronounced, and his face unmistakably feminine. Panic set in as he stared at his reflection, but beneath the fear was a strange sense of wonder. Mia, he called, grabbing his phone. When Mia arrived and saw Ethan, her jaw dropped. Ethan? Is that really you? I think I'm stuck like this, Ethan said, his voice trembling. Mia stared at him, then smiled. You're stunning. That's not the point, Ethan exclaimed. What am I supposed to do? We'll figure it out, Mia said reassuringly. But maybe this isn't a curse. Maybe it's a chance. A chance for what? Ethan asked. To discover who you really are, Mia said softly. Ethan looked at his reflection again. The person staring back was unfamiliar, yet felt oddly right. For the first time, he wondered if the ghost's gift was more than just a Halloween trick. Maybe, just maybe, it was the start of something extraordinary. As the days passed, Ethan, now Evelyn, navigated this new reality with Mia's support. What had started as a costume turned into a journey of self-discovery, one that revealed truths Evelyn had buried deep within. Halloween had always been a night for transformation, but this year, it had changed her life forever. The days following Halloween were a whirlwind for Evelyn. She tried to blend back into her old life as Ethan, but it became impossible. Every glance in the mirror was a reminder of the profound transformation she had undergone. Her features were soft and feminine, her body curved in ways she never imagined, and even her voice carried a melodic quality that was impossible to disguise. Mia, ever the optimist, treated Evelyn's transformation like an exciting new chapter. This is an opportunity, she said one evening as they sat in Evelyn's apartment. You can start fresh, be whoever you want to be. Who I want to be, Evelyn repeated, hugging her knees. She was dressed in an oversized sweatshirt, trying to feel some semblance of normalcy. I don't even know who that is. Then maybe it's time to find out, Mia said gently. Evelyn decided to take a few days off work to process everything. Her job as an IT technician was flexible enough that she could claim a sudden illness, giving her some breathing room. During those days, Mia became her lifeline, guiding her through the basics of navigating her new identity. They shopped for clothes that fit her new frame, experimented with makeup, and even ventured out for coffee, testing the waters of public perception. To Evelyn's surprise, No one questioned her. Strangers treated her like any other woman, smiling politely or offering compliments on her appearance. The experience was surreal, but it also planted a seed of confidence. Maybe this wasn't as impossible as it seemed. One evening, as they were sorting through a new wardrobe, Evelyn hesitated over a sleek black dress Mia had picked out. "This feels too much," she said, holding it up. "It's perfect for you," Mia insisted. "Try it on." Evelyn sighed, but slipped into the dress. When she stepped in front of the mirror, she barely recognized herself. The dress hugged her curves, accentuating her feminine form. Her auburn hair, styled in loose waves, framed her delicate features. She looked beautiful. Mia clapped her hands. "See? You're stunning." Evelyn blushed. "I feel like I'm playing dress up." "Maybe, but you're pulling it off," Mia said. "And besides, didn't the ghost say this was your new reality? Maybe it's time to embrace it." Evelyn nodded slowly. I don't know if I'm ready." "Ready or not, life doesn't wait," Mia said. "But I'll be here every step of the way." The first real test came when Evelyn returned to work. She spent hours agonizing over what to wear, finally settling on a simple blouse and skirt combination. She kept her makeup minimal, not wanting to draw too much attention. Walking into the office was like stepping onto a stage. Heads turned as she entered, her colleagues exchanging curious glances. Evelyn's heart pounded, but she forced herself to smile and act natural. "Ethan," her coworker Mark said, his eyes wide. "Actually, it's Evelyn now," she said, her voice steady despite her nerves. Mark blinked, clearly taken aback, but he recovered quickly. Oh, okay. "Welcome back, Evelyn." The rest of the day was a mix of awkward questions and polite acceptance. Most people were kind, though some couldn't hide their confusion. Evelyn explained her situation in vague terms, citing personal changes and a desire to embrace her true self. By the end of the day, she felt exhausted but proud.
She had survived.
As weeks turned into months, Evelyn began to settle into her new life. She discovered that the transformation wasn't just physical, it had unlocked a part of her she hadn't realized existed. She felt more comfortable in her skin, more confident in her interactions with others. Even her work improved, as she found herself thinking more creatively and communicating more effectively. Her relationship with Mia grew stronger, too. They became inseparable, spending weekends exploring new hobbies and attending events. Mia encouraged Evelyn to embrace her femininity, and Evelyn found herself enjoying things she'd never considered before, like yoga classes and baking. But not everything was smooth sailing. Evelyn faced her share of challenges, from awkward encounters with old acquaintances to moments of self-doubt. She often wondered if the ghost spell would wear off, if she'd wake up one day back in her old body. The thought terrified her more than she cared to admit. One night, as she and Mia were watching a movie, Evelyn broached the subject. "Do you think this is permanent?" she asked. Mia paused the movie and turned to her. "Do you want it to be?" Evelyn thought for a long moment. "I think so. I feel happier like this. More like myself. Is that crazy?"
"Not at all," Mia said.
"I think this was always who you were meant to be. The ghost just gave you a little push. But what if it's temporary? What if I go back to being Ethan's? Then we'll deal with it," Mia said firmly. "But until then, live your life as Evelyn. Be who you want to be." Evelyn took Mia's advice to heart. She threw herself into her new identity, exploring every facet of her femininity. She joined a book club, started taking dance classes, and even tried online dating. To her surprise, she found herself enjoying the attention, though she was careful about who she let into her life. One of her dates, a charming artist named Lucas, quickly became a regular presence. He was kind, attentive, and completely accepting of Evelyn's story. Their connection deepened with each meeting, and Evelyn found herself wondering if she'd finally found someone who truly understood her. As Halloween approached again, Evelyn couldn't help but reflect on how much her life had changed in a year. She felt like a completely different person, not just in appearance but in spirit. The transformation had forced her to confront her fears, embrace her desires, and build a life she never thought possible. Mia convinced her to attend the haunted gala again, this time as herself. Evelyn chose a stunning red dress that highlighted her confidence, pairing it with bold jewelry and a radiant smile. When she walked into the mansion, heads turned once again, but this time, she felt no fear. She was exactly where she belonged. As she wandered through the crowd, Evelyn felt a familiar chill. Turning, she saw the ghost of Lady Evelyn standing in the corner, her spectral form glowing softly. "Enjoying your new reality?" the ghost asked, her voice echoing faintly. Evelyn smiled. "More than I ever thought possible." "Thank you," the ghost nodded. "It seems you've embraced the gift I gave you. Remember, true transformation comes from within. The spell may have changed your body, but your heart and spirit did the rest." With that, the ghost vanished, leaving Evelyn with a sense of peace. She no longer feared the future or questioned her place in the world. She was Evelyn, through and through, and she was ready to embrace whatever came next. The rest of the night was a celebration of her journey. Surrounded by friends and newfound confidence, Evelyn danced, laughed, and reveled in the joy of simply being herself. Halloween had transformed her life, but it was her own courage and determination that had made the change permanent. As the clock struck midnight, Evelyn raised a glass to the past, the present, and the future, knowing that, at last, she was exactly who she was meant to be. Thank you so much for watching till now. It means the world to have you here. This community is all about empowering each other and celebrating the incredible journeys of everyone on their path to living authentically. If you're ever feeling lost or alone, remember you have a whole family here for you. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and let's keep inspiring each other, sending you all the love and strength in the world. Until next time, live your life by your rules.